You miss me? Your boy is back. Vacation is over. I'll be back live on national television Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what time it is, but it starts here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. After all, this is my platform. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this special edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Even though I'm with you as normally every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, over the digital airways of YouTube, I am on vacation, so I had recorded interviews earlier this week. This is not a record. This is live. I'm live right here. As usually, in my studios, thanks to our official studio sponsor, FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is the official sports betting company of the Stephen A. Smith Show. I got a lot of stuff to get into, so obviously I appreciate the love and the support. Even while I was gone, the subscribers were growing by the thousands. I'm up to over 242,000 subscribers. This is because of y'all. This is because of the love that y'all give me, the love that y'all show me. I deeply, deeply appreciate the love and support and everything else that comes in between. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You keep wanting me to come, I'm going to keep bringing it. It's just that simple. So be sure to like and subscribe to the Stephen A. Smith channel on YouTube. Click the bell to get notified about all of our new content. And by the way, questions. Put them in the YouTube chat, and I'll answer every single one of them that I can at the end of the show. You can call the SAS hotline at 646-727-0769. That's 646-SAS-0769. Let me get right into it, because I know that news has been percolating over the last few days that Shannon Sharpe is coming to First Take. I'm not going to tell you that's true. I'm not going to tell you it's not either. What I can tell you is that the honchos are talking to Shannon Sharpe. What I can tell you is that the honchos are fully aware that Stephen A. Smith wants Shannon Sharpe on First Take. Now, don't get it twisted. I want Ryan Clark, too, from the pivot. I want him pivoting his behind right to First Take several times a week because I love my brother. Swagoo, Marcus Spears, I want him on First Take. Dan Orlovsky, okay? A.K.A. the White Urkel. I love you dearly, my brother. I want you on First Take, too. Kimberly Martin, Mina Combs. I want you on First Take. Mad Dog Russo, yeah. I want you on that, too. And I'll get into Michael Irvin in just a second. But make no mistake about it. I'm not apologizing to a damn show. I want Shannon Sharpe on First Take. And I aim to get him. We are definitely talking to Shannon Sharpe. The conversations are official. The reports have not been misnomers or misreports or anything like that. We are talking to him, and I'm hopeful, very hopeful, and very confident that ultimately we will be announcing sooner than later that he will be on First Take. Anything can happen now, because I don't make those decisions. I have bosses. Executives like Dave Roberts and Burke Magnus and Jimmy Pitaro. They make the decisions. Stephen A. is not the boss. Okay? I answer to them. They make those decisions. They're the bosses. So contractual agreements and all of this other stuff have to come into play. But damn it, Shannon, Club, Shay, and anything else. I don't give a damn if he brings a bottle of Hennessy with him. I want him on First Take. All of this politically correct stuff and being quiet. I want Shannon Sharpe on First Take. Okay? Period. Because I'm proud of the work that he's done. I'm proud of his career as a football player. 3-time Super Bowl champion. Hall of Famer. Knows his damn football. I'm good with him. And I'm not one of those insecure brothers that's scared of his greatness, thinking that it's going to sully mine. No. Iron sharpens iron. We elevate one another. Because when it comes to television, when it comes to being in front of a microphone or a camera, I'm not taking a back step to any damn body. Yeah, I sound a little loud today and all of this other stuff. What's going on? Stephen A's off vacation. That's what the hell's going on. I'm rested. 10 hours a day, asleep, loving the beach, chilling. I did drink a few tequilas and some vanilla milkshake with rum, because that's some of my favorite stuff. Now, I know some of y'all out there with this sleeveless shirt and all of that stuff. You know, listen, you look at those reports online all you want to. This is me right here, not that damn ugly-ass picture that they put out there, okay? This is me right here. And if this don't look good enough for you, sorry. This is the best I got to offer. But let me tell you something right now. On my best day, I wouldn't be the Hulk. That would be Shannon, okay? I mean, damn it, I'm not only interested in him being on First Take. I might have to talk to my man Juvie about having a partner for security. Because if I got Shannon with Juvie with me, damn it, I'm Superman. I might as well be bulletproof. Hell yeah. So when I saw the reports, in all seriousness, I thought it was my obligation to come to all of you and to let you know, yeah, the talks are serious. I want this brother on First Take. I want him as a part of the ESPN family. And I want him to have a shinier light placed on him than a few of the times than we last saw him. That day, January 4th, 2023, was the day that I knew Shannon Sharpe would be gone from Undisputed on FS1. Because I know Skip. I know some folks on that show, all great people, by the way. I just know that watching television and knowing the business the way that I do and seeing what happened, that there was no way that that relationship could continue, no matter how anybody tried to floss over it. Something like that serious, doesn't happen. And that serious of a divide takes place before all of our very eyes, and survival is a part of the equation. Doesn't happen. I knew that day that Shannon Sharpe would be gone at the very latest by the end of the NBA season. And sure enough, the last day, the day after the NBA season concluded, when the Denver Nuggets won the NBA championship over the Miami Heat, here was Shannon Sharpe the very next day.
But one more thing before you go, Skip. Okay. One more thing. All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night, you know I gave you everything I had.
You did.
I gave you everything I had.
Which is why I want to thank you for all you have given to me.
Amen. I was proud of Shannon that day. I was proud of Skip that day. And I get to say that because I've known Skip for over 2 decades. And I've come to know Shannon, and I got more and more love for him every day that I get to talk to him. And yes, we have spoken recently. He actually hollered at me while I was on vacation in the islands. So, again, nothing's finalized. There's still work to be done. But make no mistake about it. ESPN is talking to him. And make no mistake about it, it's primarily because I want them to talk to him. Because I want to win. Now, I've been winning, but you don't win standing still. You win by continuing to adapt and evolve, and that's what the hell we gonna do. There's been a lot of noise about First Take emanating out of the mouths of various people. See, I don't stand still. And I'm not one of those people that believe that I can do it alone. My producers help me win. The talent that sits across from me debating me every day help me win. Molly Karam makes me win. Because I got news for you. As good as you think she is as a host, you have no idea. There was many, many, many years that she was held back. Molly's a special talent. And I don't want to do First Take without her either. We're not going anywhere. We're coming. And that's why I sat up there and I was looking forward to doing a day show to put the sports world on notice. We're coming. First Take been number 1, 11 and a half years. We're not going away. Not even a little bit. Yes, we are talking to Shannon Sharpe. And yes, it's above my pay grade to say anything beyond that because bottom line is I don't get to negotiate with them. Those are the bosses. I answer to them. But ain't nothing going to stop me from letting the world know I want them. And I not only want him for First Take, I want him for our network. Because I consider Shannon Sharpe an asset. And I'm not here to throw shade on any other show or any other network, but I think with a talent like that, I don't think you let somebody like that walk out the door. Somebody else's loss, I intend for it to be my gain. I sincerely hope and pray that ESPN works it out, but more importantly, I expect them to. They know where I stand. And now you do officially. I know I said before that I want him, but in case I didn't say it emphatically enough, I want Shannon Sharpe on First Take to join the crew. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on YouTube. Glad y'all are listening. Continue to tune in. Let me transition to another subject, please. And that subject is going to be the playmaker himself, Michael Irvin. You know, this subject has been very, very difficult for me to discuss. I've never known what happened. Obviously, we all saw the video. And to my producers out there, put it up right now while I'm talking so everybody sees the kind of brouhaha that Michael Irvin got himself into in February of 2023, where there was a young lady he was talking to, and he had spoken for approximately 45 seconds. We can't hear anything. All we see is a conversation, and that is it. The next thing you know, Michael Irvin was accused of, at the very least, misbehaving or doing something inappropriate. We don't know what that was. As a result, he was taken off of the Super Bowl coverage. He was asked to leave town. I think foolishly, by the way, he stayed in town, which one would surmise kind of agitated the NFL Network. And we haven't seen him since. I mean, we've seen a video of him with the video being played and him sitting next to his attorneys, and he was in tears, him being accused of doing something wrong. And that's basically been his situation. I've spoken up on behalf of Michael Irvin by way of simply stating I wanted him back on First Take as well, barring any unforeseen evidence that was to come forward that would be incredibly incriminating. I've waited months, and I'm still waiting. And that doesn't just go for ESPN and the NFL Network, but anybody else out there. So let me step out on a limb a little bit more. I am not going to cast any aspersions against another human being. I don't know what Michael Irvin said to that woman. I don't know what happened. All I'm going by is the evidence that has been placed before us. Ladies and gentlemen, all we have seen is approximately a 45-second video of Michael Irvin talking to this young lady and then both of them going their separate ways. That is it. That is not a reason for this three-time Super Bowl champion and this Hall of Famer to be unemployed or off the airwaves entertaining us the way that this man entertains us. Now, if the NFL Network doesn't want him, they have every right not to want him. If ESPN doesn't want him, they have every right not to want him. And the reason why they would have the right not to want him, ladies and gentlemen, is because business is business, and in the place of corporate America, sometimes if something walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's not a mongoose. And if you are constantly finding yourself in questionable situations, an employer will potentially say, I've had enough of this. And as a result, may turn around and say, we just don't want any more. That is entirely plausible. And it makes sense. And if that is the reality of the situation with Michael Irvin and any network, he has to live with that and he has to own it, because right or wrong, if you have enough of a history where you're in the news for the wrong reasons, there are things that people can get tired of. But that's not what I was told. What I was told is that there was going to be incriminating evidence against Michael Irvin based on this incident. And that would be the reason he wouldn't be on the airwaves. I'm not talking about by ESPN. I'm just talking about people in the know in the industry. They were the ones saying that. Well, guess what? That was February. It is March, April, May, June, now July, and August is on the way. In case y'all haven't noticed, since that time, I've lost about 20 pounds. My hairline has receded by about another foot. All right? I'm 6 months older. I know a couple of dudes that just had babies. And I've been to about 6 birthday parties. And we still ain't seen no evidence incriminating Mike Irvin. And if we don't see that, this man should be on the airwaves. Michael Irvin was a phenomenal football player. Michael Irvin is a phenomenal television talent. He is fun. He is informed. He is passionate. He knows his football. And he is synonymous with the gridiron. When Michael Irvin ain't around, come football season, something's missing. Something is missing. And just like I told you, I wanted Shannon Sharpe, I want Michael Irvin too. Now, there's some of you out there that go like this. He just want it all. He just want it all. What, he can't do this? He can't do this by himself? That's what y'all saying. Shut the hell up. I've been number one for 11 and a half years. I believe with or without him, I'm going to be number one for 12 and a half years. And 13 and a half years. I ain't going further than that because I only got 2 years left of my contract. We got to wait and see. But make no mistake about it, I intend to win. I intend to be number one. There's no doubt in my mind that a Shannon Sharpe and a Michael Irvin will help. There's no doubt in my mind they'll secure the number one spot for ESPN without question. But that ain't the only reason I want them. I want them because they're fun. I want them because they know football. I want them because they're great television. I want them because they care. And I want them because they're both winners. Winners in ways I'll never be. I'll never take care of myself physically, even though I do think I look good, regardless of what you saw on the damn video, social media. I know I look better than that in case you haven't noticed. But I'll never take care of myself the way those two do. I'll never take care of myself. I mean, Shannon, if there's something I got against him, it's being around him physically, because I think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson might feel a little puny around Shannon Sharpe. That's a big boy. Muscles everywhere coming out of his damn ears. What does he eat for breakfast? Oxes? I mean, damn. And Michael Irvin, you know me, baby. You know what I'm thinking about with you, Michael Irvin, right? Keep it spinning and breaking records, baby. Keep it spinning. Y'all remember that segment? Go back and look at First Take. In that segment, Michael Irvin, the Playmaker segment with him and Ryan Clark. Keep it spinning. Shut up. But they said he couldn't play. They said he couldn't play. They said they need a new quarterback. They said they need a new quarterback. They said they was going to get somebody else. They was going to get somebody else. What they going to do now? What they going to do now? Keep it spinning and breaking records, baby. I'm telling you, it's one of my all-time favorite segments. Special. Michael Irvin I miss you, bro. Innocent until proven guilty. I know that is an unpopular thing to say in today's America, but bump that. It's America. If the man is guilty, show me. If not, NFL Network, I love you. Rich Eisen, all those brothers, I love y'all. Kurt Warner, you know, Steve Mariucci, come on, y'all know how I feel about y'all. Y'all family to me. Michael Irvin special. Ain't the same without him. First Take, we gonna do what we gonna do. But I'm the face of First Take. And the face of First Take is telling you I love my brother. I miss my brother. And I want him back. Can't come back if we find something incriminating. I understand that. But if not, I want my brother. And I just wanted to make sure y'all knew that. Last item before I go to break, by the way, Dan Le Batard, Stu Gotts, Dan Le Batard show, they had some more stuff to say. I was on vacation, so I didn't respond, but I'm here now. And I'll respond to that in just a minute. But not before I get into Jordan Poole's daddy. Jordan Poole, remember him? Jordan Poole, former Golden State Warrior. Dude got knocked out by Draymond Green. Draymond Green was wrong. Should not have done that. He knows that. Jordan Poole is now a Washington Wizard. And Draymond Green, just a few weeks ago or so, was on a Pat Beverly podcast with Roan, I believe. That's what they call it. And he was asked about the whole Jordan Poole situation, and Draymond Green, I'm reading from the article here. It says, he says, I just don't hit people. I don't just hit people. I've been in this league for 11 years. It ain't just, I don't just hit anybody. Dialogue happens over the course of the time. You're usually not triggered by something that fast to that degree. We know things you have to stand on. As I admitted before, I was wrong in the way I handled it for the situation and where we were. By the way, I wish him well. I was showing him the ropes in this league. I think he's got a bright future, super talented, super skilled. I don't have any hard feeling towards anything. I wish him well on his journey. But Poole's father, Mr. Anthony Poole, fired back. He claimed that Draymond Green avoided him and his wife throughout the 2022-2023 NBA season in a response on Twitter. This is what Jordan Poole's father had to say. "I'ma stand on this. That's some BS," Anthony wrote. JP was his guy, and he avoided me all last year. He, as in Draymond Green, is a soft-ass bitch. And I'm standing on this, and he didn't apologize to me and my wife. So he lame, and me and him can meet anytime he wants. Shortly thereafter, Draymond Green hit back and disagreed. Quote, "That's so cute," Green wrote. "It's impossible to avoid you in an arena for a year, champ. I go get my family from that family room every game. And stop using those words. They usually don't go over well amongst men." I assume Draymond Green is talking about a soft-ass bitch. Draymond Green was wrong. There's no defending what happened. And he knows that. He was on this podcast and admitted as much. And I appreciated that. He'll be on again soon, by the way. Jordan Poole is talented. He's a sensational talent. Clearly what happened to him affected his season in a very negative fashion. And that is what it is. To his father, Anthony Poole. Here's what I would have to say to you, sir. First of all, respect to you and your family. And respect to you for standing up to you, for your son the way that you did. The only thing that I would say that's problematic as it pertains to Jordan Poole's daddy is, why now? You had all year to comment about that. Why now that your son is gone? Why not comment about it throughout the year at some point while you were in the same arena with Draymond Green, when you would have had an opportunity to run into Draymond Green, talk to him, confront him, or whatever? Why bring it up now that your son is a Washington Wizard? Why do that? And to be quite honest with you, I find it very difficult to believe that Draymond avoided you all year. I'm not talking about fear or anything like that. He was so wrong, and everybody knew he was wrong. I find it very, very difficult to believe that he would avoid you as opposed to coming up to you and apologizing to you for what he did to your son. And if he didn't do it, one would surmise because he did it to Jordan Poole himself, because he is a young man. He's not a boy. So I respect where Pops is coming from because he loves his son. He raised his son. And Draymond, like he said on this podcast, was very, very wrong because more than anything, Draymond felt like he betrayed Jordan because Jordan looked up to him. Jordan leaned on him. Jordan was counseled by him, etc. And then to do what he did to Jordan Poole was just flat out wrong. There's no defense for it. But the flip side to it is that to rehash it now, it would make more sense if Jordan Poole rehashed it now that he's gone. But for the Pops to wait until now to do it, let's just say that's highly questionable. By the way, that was pun intended, but not for Jordan Poole's daddy. It was because of where I'm going next. Dan Le Batard and his show have a lot to say. I just listened while I was away. I respond next. You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on YouTube. Back with more in a minute. It's the summer, but that doesn't mean you can just slack off. In fact, this is the time to get ahead if you're hiring. While others are kicking back and relaxing, you could be finding your next amazing teammate. So if you're hiring, lean on Indeed to build your team. There's no I in team, but there is an Indeed, and they'll build up that team fast. That's because they're the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place with powerful tools to help you do it all. And summer moves fast, so Indeed does too. They get you one step closer to immediately hiring your new colleagues by matching you with quality candidates instantly. That's why more than 3 million businesses rely on the power of Indeed. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/SAS. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/SAS. Just go to Indeed.com/SAS and support the show by saying you heard about it on this podcast. Indeed.com/SAS. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets, up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Talk about a great way to get into baseball, which, by the way, is more exciting than ever. Choose a team to win with a simple money line wager or get a little more adventurous, like betting on a certain player who you think is going to be the first home run. That is how you get into every at-bat in the game, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, I see what sports fans are doing. Betting on baseball is all the rage right now. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you can get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So, sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/SAS to get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/SAS. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued is now withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369 in New York. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on YouTube live with you. First of all, I appreciate y'all commenting me on my arms. It's like I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation. I'm still on vacation, but I came off because I'm back on the air full throttle. I mean, I just want to thank the bosses for making me take my vacation. I have received a lot of rest. I'm taking another one in August. I'm taking another one, okay, because I'm owed a lot of time. But I just got some rest. I rested like 10 hours a day. I worked out every day. And I saw this ugly-ass picture on social media. I said, who the hell is that? It was me. I said, damn, I don't look like that. Because I know what I've been doing, you know? And I was like, hey, I was drinking a little bit. I was, I was like, I wasn't myself. But I was like, hell no, I don't look that bad. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of men who look better than me. I am not the brightest candle on the birthday cake. I know this. That is not my gift. That is not my gift. However, what I will tell you is this. Just in the interest of full disclosure, y'all, I've been on this health tip for like 2 months now. They diagnosed me as pre-diabetic. I was like 0.1 point away from being diabetic. I had to take insulin for the rest of my life. I said, oh, hell with that. So I cut out a lot of red meat. I cut out a lot of fried foods. I cut back on the sugar big time. Okay? I even went on a paleo diet recently. Thanks, LeBron James, because, he has the physique that most men want. I got to give him credit where credit is due. Okay? The brother keeps himself in shape. And I went on a paleo diet. Okay? All those things. I've lost 20 pounds. So I'm just putting y'all on notice because whatever you see now, trust me, wait till September, October. Wait till September, October. But I'm just saying, those damn pictures are very, very deceiving because I know I don't look that bad. So I'm here, judge for yourself. Now, be sure to like and subscribe to the Stephen A. Smith channel because the subscribers keep growing and growing and growing. All of y'all have been tuning in. I love it when y'all are in the waiting room and y'all wait for me to come on and y'all watching me live as we speak. I already got over 22,000 views just already, okay? Just to start. We ain't even halfway through the show, so thank you so much. But by the way, be sure to like and subscribe to the Stephen A. Smith channel on YouTube. Click the bell to get notified about all my new content. Let me get to my man Dan Le Batard and the Dan Le Batard Show. It's a couple of things before I get into something. Dan and I have spoken off the air because I went at him before I went on vacation because I didn't appreciate some of the bullshit he was saying on the show. And I still don't. But just because I don't like what you said doesn't mean you're not my friend. We can disagree and still be friends. Dan Le Batard and I have been friends for over 20 years. And any disagreement that we have is not going to change that. I can disagree with him without disrespecting him. And that's what I'm about to do. As I said last week, I did not appreciate when he was saying that me and Skip Bayless, he hates what we did to sports television, acting like he was teaching at Miami U and he wasn't a part of this industry. Got your own damn show. Got your daddy sitting in the middle between you and Bomani Jones half the time or somebody else. Okay? And Bomani Jones, wherever you are, man, I love you, man. I'm rooting for you, and I wish you nothing but the best. You know I'm your brother. I'm sorry that you had to be a casualty of the layoffs and all of that stuff. You know how I feel about you, bro. You had a great show, by the way, on HBO as well. So I'm wishing you nothing but the best. One of the great, great interviewers out there, by the way. Bomani Jones is a special talent. But I digress. Dan Le Batard was talking, and I didn't like some of the shit he was saying. I particularly didn't like him constantly bringing up ESPN and bitching all the time about ESPN. Because I'm just one of those dudes that if a place is good enough for you to collect a check from for years, why are you maligning it every chance you get the second you're gone? I just think that's Bush League. And I said so. That was just one of the things that I said. And nevertheless, I addressed it. I also talked about Jemele Hill and what she had to say, which I will get it back into in just a couple of minutes, along with Amin El Hassan, and what he had to say. And then Dan came back on and said some of the things that he said and was talking about my problem is really not with him, but with Jamel Hill, which I'll get into in just a second, because ain't nobody running. And then Stu Gotts, who was not there one particular day, came back on the air. Stu Gotts, Dan Le Batard's partner. I've known Stu Gotts for years, got a lot of respect for him. I like him a great deal. Good people. Okay? And Stu Gotts said something that I thought was worthy of a response. He said it on the Dan Le Batard show about myself, about Dan Le Batard, about this business. And I thought our audience needed to hear it. So here is Stu Gotts addressing this whole somewhat brouhaha between me and Dan Le Batard and the business of sports broadcasting and the shows that exist on the air today. Listen to Stu Gotts here.
Dan, I want to talk to you because I'm concerned about you because I've been thinking about this during the break, and we've discussed this for a while now on the show. But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay, it has changed.
Yeah.
It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to do something from a credible place.
That's true.
If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you, okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. You jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody every Tuesday, okay? And so you have ditched journalism a long, long time ago because why? Survival of the fittest, Dan.
Stu Gotts, right there, makes very, very, very valid points. The industry did change, and we had to adapt. When I was writing for the Philadelphia Inquirer, I was working in Philadelphia. I was writing for the Philadelphia Inquirer as the beat writer for the Philadelphia 76ers, covering Allen Iverson and Aaron McKee and Dikembe Mutombo, Larry Brown, Pat Croce, Billy King, all of these guys. And I was having a very, very successful career. Very, very successful season. Their run to the NBA Finals. Allen Iverson was sensational. Ended up being a league MVP. Larry Brown was coach of the year. Theo Ratliff goes down early in the season. They end up trading him for Dikembe Mutombo because they knew that they could beat the teams in the East and they was going to need somebody that could conceivably go up against Shaquille O'Neal. And we knew that, wow, that was going to work out because Shaquille was in his prime at the time and the most dominant force we had seen in our lifetime outside of Wilt Chamberlain. And Stephen A. Smith is breaking every story. Any story pertaining to the sport of basketball was coming through me. My star was ascending at an exponential rate. And then the Sixers won in the first round. And then they beat Toronto in the conference semifinals when Allen Iverson and Vince Carter was going back and forth, dropping 50 on each other. It was one of the most spectacular series I've ever seen. It was special. And Vince Carter went to his graduation at the University of North Carolina the morning of Game 7. And they ended up losing. And then he went up against, and then Allen Iverson and the 76ers went up against Milwaukee in the conference finals. Big Dog, Glenn Robinson, Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, and those brothers. It was special. It really, really was. And I was right there sitting courtside front center, witnessing it all. Except all the other reporters were the ones getting the shine. The feature writers, investigative reporters and stuff like that. And I had been relegated to writing an 800-word article per day. And other than that, my voice was silenced. And it was at that moment that I recognized the advent of sports talk radio and ultimately the proliferating impact of ESPN because of Stuart Scott and various others that were on the airwaves talking. And their voices were resonating and they were becoming household names. And I knew that I could be as good as any of them. in my own way. Nobody could duplicate the greatness of the Stuart Scott and Dan Patrick and others, but I knew that I could establish my own niche and really, really make it happen. And I knew it wasn't going to be in television, in newspapers. I had to go elsewhere. And that level of adaptation that kicked in ultimately would transfer from newspapers to radio to television. Ultimately from radio and television to the digital stratosphere. Ultimately, the advent of social media came into play. And once that came into play, all of a sudden you saw various other things taking place. And then you saw the podcast world come into play. And during that time, there's a reason that Joe Rogan is at the top of the heap. Because Joe Rogan's been doing this podcast for ages. And he was a visionary, and he saw it before most. There's a reason that Bill Simmons is making noise at Spotify with the huge contract that he has in his own sports network, because he saw the forest from the trees ahead of a lot of us. And he was a visionary. So when Stu Gatz alludes to the changing of the industry as it pertains to people like myself and Dan Le Batard, he's not wrong. Because I saw that you had to modify your game a little bit, because all of a sudden the written word didn't matter as much. All of a sudden the news itself didn't matter 2 minutes after people got it. It mattered when they didn't have it, but the second they had it, within 5 minutes, because of the advent of social media and beyond, everybody had it. And once everybody had it, they didn't care about the news anymore. What they cared about was your perspective on the news. And I saw that as my avenue to transition. And I'm not apologizing for it. Because even though I went from 53,000 to 225,000 as a salaried employee for the Philadelphia Inquirer, let's just say you can't even come to me with 5-figure salaries at this point in time in my life, or 6-figure salaries. It's not even a consideration. I'm at a point in time in my career I don't even want to discuss anything that's less than 7 figures. That would never have been the case had I stayed in newspapers. For myself or Dan Le Batard. Which is why I thank Stu Gatz for pointing out Dan Le Batard's, dare I say, hypocrisy on this matter. Because that's what it is, Dan. Sorry, buddy. But it is. Now, that doesn't mean I agree with everything that Stu Gatz said. My brother, I've never shoved aside journalism. And to that, I give my brother Dan Le Batard credit. Because he hit the nail on the head when he pointed out, I do report. I do get intel. When I tell you I've talked to somebody and I'm giving you a perspective on the team, if I'm not speculating and I tell you I'm not speculating, it's because I was on the phone or met with people directly involved in the situation who gave me intel on it. That's reporting. I still go to games when I can. I'm still in the locker rooms when I can. I'm still communicating with players and coaches and executives and owners all the time. So in that regard, I appreciate Dan Le Batard acknowledging that about me. And Stu Gatz, respectfully, you missed that one, my brother. Because I'm not one of those people. And maybe it's because I'm simply a black man who knows better. But I don't believe you can be a black man and just run your mouth and be successful. You got to have substance to your arguments. And substance comes from intel. And intel comes from sources. And sources come from networking. These are all the things that I have done for 30 years and counting. I have never stopped, and I will never stop. Ever, as long as I'm breathing and I'm in this industry. And I will put my credibility up against anyone in this business. I don't stop reporting, Stu Gatz. I'm not just spewing opinion. I do sometimes, but a lot of times, I have intel as well, because I still work, not just spew. Respectfully. Now to get to the point about Dan Le Batard and what I said in regards to Jemele Hill. Before I go any further with that, could y'all please play for me Dan Le Batard talking about me and bringing Jemele Hill, or reminding the audience of what I was alluding to when I brought up Jemele Hill's name. Play that for me, please.
And more objectionable than some of the stuff that we're talking about is his problem's not actually with me. It's with what Jemele Hill said on our platform. And this is more complicated because I'm a much easier target for him to put a name on than going after the black female that he also respects, that he doesn't want to start that back and forth when it's easier to just frame it under me. When I didn't say the thing he objected to, which I understand why he
merely
objected.
Said one of the things that he objected
well,
to.
no, I believe that what he objected to, let's play this sound from Jemele on our show. I believe that the strongest objection by him, and I understand being insulted by this, if you're him, is one phrase in the sound we're about to play for you.
Thinking about, my situation is like they were reacting to a moment then. That moment said that people didn't want to hear any political talk, any racial talk, any social justice talk. Not that that was something Mike and I were doing every day on SportsCenter. We weren't. They let a false narrative persist about our show that people just kind of ran away with. They let the idiots in the room control the conversation. People like Clay Travis. That's what happened. And because they allowed those people to direct their course of action, they panicked. And suddenly they were very intentional about the things that they were doing in our show. They wanted black faces. They didn't want necessarily black voices. And that's how it came off, right? And so because of that, ultimately, we wound up paying the price.
Yep. Couple of things there that need to be broached. First order of business, back to Dan Le Batard. I shouldn't have a problem with him. I should have a problem with Jemele Hill. But he's the easier target. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Le Batard knows better. He knows I don't give a shit about what target is easier or not. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And if there are things that I can't say because I work in corporate America and every bit of truth is not for everybody to hear, that's simply making business and judicious decisions. I'm not lying to anybody, and I'm not running from confronting issues. I just recognize that every business is not everybody's business. Dan Le Batard is a perfect example of that. I know plenty of things about Dan Le Batard. And Dan Le Batard knows I know plenty of things about Dan Le Batard that I would never reiterate because that's his business. Not to mention the fact that he's my friend. And I would never betray his trust or disrespect him like that, as I know he would not with me. It doesn't mean that we lie. It just means that everything ain't meant for everybody to know it here. That's in human life, period, number one. Number two, like I said, ain't nobody running from anything. Number three, Dan Le Batard, my problem shouldn't be with you. You're wrong. Because you provide the platform. Allow me to explain. Jemele Hill, and I appreciate Dan Le Batard playing what she said months ago in context because I didn't hear that initial part, what she was explaining, how she came to the conclusion of black faces, not black voices. Okay? So I appreciate the context. And Dan Le Batard, if I'm guarded about what I say about Jemele Hill, it's not because she's a tough target. I'm not scared. I happen to love her. She's a friend and a colleague, and I've known her for over 20 years, and I respect the hell out of her. And I know other people who will remain nameless with their sorry, low-life ass selves, who will go after people like her. And I'm not going to do that to her because she doesn't deserve that. What I was saying is when she said that, I'm a black man on ESPN. Ryan Clark is. Marcus Spears is. The great Mike Wilbon, who's been a mentor to all of us, is. Stuart Scott was. The great John Saunders was. Damian Woody still is. Bart Scott still is. Kendrick Perkins still is. Louis Riddick still is. Sam Acho still is. Kimberly Martin still is. To say a statement like the network wants black faces but not black voices. Who can't understand how that would be interpreted by a black voice on the network? If Jemele Hill is working at Spotify and I said Spotify is just interested in black faces, they don't want black voices, is that not a dig at Jemele Hill? Of course it is, which is why I would never say that. That's my point. As it pertains to her, that's it. And that's all it is. I miss Jemele Hill. Wish she was still at the network. Voice very influential. Mad respect and love for her. By the way, I miss Michael Smith, who's an incredible young talent. I wish he was never gone. But certain things is their business, and if they don't make you privy to it, you shouldn't comment on it. So I never commented, other than I miss them. But that statement took me aback, as it would any black person that's working on the network that heard her say that. That doesn't absolve you, Dan Le Batard. If somebody showed up on this show, the Stephen A. Smith Show, I own and operate this. This is not an ESPN affiliation. I own this show. I pay the bills. I pay these employees. I pay to keep these lights on. I'm building a new studio, by the way, out of my own pocket. This is mine. What if somebody came on the show while Dan Le Batard was working on ESPN and said, quote, you know, there's some people, you know, folks of Cuban descent on the show, and, you know, I mean, they want Cuban faces. They just don't want Cuban voices. And I sat back knowing that Dan Le Batard is on the network, and I say nothing. Not a word. Not a challenge, not a pushback, nothing. I just let that slide. How would you feel? You know me well enough to know how I would feel. And I know you well enough to know how you would feel. That's why that would a person would have received pushback. And I believe that the thing that camouflages Dan Le Batard's judgment from time to time is his eagerness to be ultra critical of ESPN. Now, in fairness to Dan Le Batard, he has been critical of ESPN while he was on the airwaves there, more so than most. Absolutely true. He's not lying about that. He's a real one. But you could be real, and you could also be real unwise and real foolish. Just as real as you can be really authentic. Just because you were brave and unfiltered and devoid of hesitancy when it came to calling out the network doesn't mean you're always right. And I'd like to remind Dan Le Batard, there's a few things that the network could say about you, you know, if it wanted to. But it never did. There's a few things that I could say about you that you know I wouldn't, because I love you. And I'm not talking about what you say and all of this other stuff. I'm saying when you sit up there and you say the problem is with Jemele Hill, it's not really with you. That is not accepting responsibility for the platform you have available to you. I'm your brother. You're mine. There is no one that can come on this show or First Take or anywhere else and just talk in a flippant manner about faces but not voices, indirectly throwing shade upon you, and I don't remind them, wait a minute, Dan Le Batard's there. What you talking about? That's all I'm saying. So for those of you out there, don't look at it as shady. Don't look at it as Dan Le Batard and I beefing. We don't like each other. We love each other. That's my brother. We good. We just respectfully disagree on that particular instance. Just like I disagreed with Jemele Hill and her statement. But that's my sister. We don't talk much. We always could when we see each other. She's an incredible talent. I miss her. And I respect the hell out of her. I just felt that statement didn't accord me and other black folks at ESPN the respect we deserved. That's all. That's it. And she'll correct it, or she'll stand by it, or she'll do whatever she's going to do. I just saw it and it popped up and I had never seen it before. That was my only issue. That's all, nothing more. But make no mistake, the buck stops with you, Dan, on your show. And it's sad that I have to remind you, it's your show. Just like Highly Questionable was your show. Just like the Dan Le Batard show on ESPN was your show. You didn't debate, and you didn't do this, and you didn't do that. Really? Go back and watch tapes of yourself, my brother. Or just listen to Stu Gotts. He already told you. You sold out. Which means you in the muck and mire with the rest of us. Don't act like you some dove flying around while all of us are smeared. If we stink, you stink too. But we don't stink. Because you also said that First Take and dumb topics or whatever. Yo, y'all. And I don't know some of the people on your show. I've never seen them a day in my life. I don't know who they are. But to sit up there and to challenge the content, we talking about the Dallas Cowboys all the time. We're talking about LeBron James all the time. First Take has 15 different segments per day. We talk about everything. We talk about football. We talk about basketball. We talk about race. We talk about social justice issues. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff. First Take is the culture. We're responsible in large part for the culture that has taken place, that has shifted in this nation. You know how many voices have been created through First Take? You know how many black people show up on First Take? You know how many women show up on First Take? I said, look at First Take. Look at the diversity of opinions, of perspectives, of thoughts, of intel. The hell are you talking about? Respectfully, to anybody that says, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You don't have a clue. One of the greatest things ESPN has ever done is create the platform that is First Take. You may not like the show sometimes. You might not have liked it when Skip Bayless was talking about Tebow every day, every segment. I didn't like it either. That's why we changed. But don't tell me that Skip Bayless ain't a great talent on television. Don't tell me that he's never discussed serious issues. Gender issues, transgender issues, racism, misogyny, xenophobia, even politics. What are y'all talking about? What are you talking about? Is the audience dumb? Everybody out there dumb? We number one for 11 and a half years because we dumb? You know that Damian Woody scored over 1,600 on his SATs? Ryan Clark, dumb. Molly Karam, dumb. Louis Riddick, dumb. Dan Orlovsky, dumb. Mina Kimes, brilliant. Mina Kimes, dumb. Jeff Saturday, before he went to took the Indianapolis coach job, dumb. Mad Dog Russo, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, dumb. Dave Roberts, who's been an executive for decades, dumb. Norby Williamson, who's been one of the elite executives in the business for decades, dumb. They all worked under John Skipper, Dan Le Batard. Your partner, our former boss, who I profoundly respect and appreciate, he had dumb people working under him. Bob Iger appointed him. Bob Iger, dumb, one of the greatest executives in American history. George Bodenheimer, the former president, was also one of the people that appointed him. George Bodenheimer, a brilliant executive and one of the most decent human beings you'll ever find on the planet Earth. Dumb. They were dumb. I don't usually spend my time addressing my colleagues because I respect all of them. But I ain't going to take that shit from y'all. I'm the dumb one. I'm the one who got left back in the 4th grade with a 1st grade reading level. I'm the one who had undiagnosed dyslexia. I'm the one who still reads things twice because I still don't have full confidence of my comprehension from time to time because I still have the residue of when I was younger and I got left back. I'm the dumb one compared to everybody I mentioned. My producers, former ones like Antoine Lewis, present ones like Pete McConville, Tom DeCourty, and James Dunn, and David McKinnon and these brothers. Working with Greenie, working with the brilliant Mike Wilbon, friends with Tony Kornheiser for years. The Hall of Famer Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, the incomparable Doris Burke. Those are my colleagues. I'm the dumb one compared to all of them. And I'm number one. Dumb. That's what y'all said about First Take? That's why we coming for all y'all asses. That's what I meant when I said y'all done started some shit. I'm not going to sit here and take that from y'all no more. You ain't going to talk about our show like that. You ever look at your show? I would never say that about y'all, and I ain't saying that about you now. I'm just saying, don't act like you capable of throwing stones like you ain't living in a glass house when you open that Pandora's box. That's all I'm saying, Dan. That's all I'm saying. Ain't nobody backing up. I would never, ever, ever in a million lifetimes sit up there and call your content dumb. You're just wrong. You're just wrong. Back with more of the Stephen A. Smith Show in a minute. When it comes to travel, we all have a happy place. Think about it, y'all. Sun, sand, mountains, forests, 5-star hotels, and beachside bungalows. My summer happy place is traveling from city to city, going to big events, and interacting with my favorite people on the planet, all of you, of course. And Priceline wants to get me, you, everybody where we want to be. They want to help us travel to our happy places for a happy price this summer with deals that you can't miss. Priceline can save you up to 60% on select hotels, 50% off flights, and 40% off car rentals. Plus, they have an amazing bundle and save feature. So when you book a flight to wherever you're going this summer and book a hotel as part of that whole package because you need somewhere to stay, you're going to save. And save, and save. At a rental car, you'll save even more, up to $600. See why millions of people trust Priceline with getting them to their happy price. Visit Priceline.com to go to your happy price this summer. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on the YouTube Live, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. I'm told that I got a tweet from one of my brothers. Who the hell reached out to me? Oh, God. Oh, my Lord. Shaq, put that tweet back up again, please. I ain't finished reading it. This man is so crazy. Shaquille O'Neal is bothering me as usual. If you don't put them little arms away. Well, hell yeah, they little compared to you, you damn Amazon. I mean, damn. How you gonna say that? But you know, I know you're proud of me, Shaq. I just had to put something out there, bro. They had me looking bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there sunk in all of this other stuff. I worked out. I lost about 20 pounds because I was on the verge of being diabetic. I think I'm looking better and better, but they took a very unflattering picture of your bro. You understand what I'm saying? Which you undoubtedly are going to roast me about. But I'm telling you, it ain't true. I look better than that, okay? So I had to just let the world know it ain't what you think, okay? I just had to let the world know that. But this is what Shaq does, you know? But you know what? See, this is why he's my brother. Because even though he's roasting me in the whole bit, he's showing the world that he's listening to his little big bro. You know, I say big bro because I'm older than his ass. You know, but he's listening to his little big bro. 14 million followers. Shaq and his 14 million. See, that's love. Hold on, man. I'm getting emotional. My boy Shaq. Crazy ass. I'm going to have him on here soon. I'm going to wait to roast him. I got a few things to roast Shaq about, by the way. A few things to roast him about. But that'll be for another day. Let me move on. This story is in regards to the Florida Board of Education real quick. I want to say this before I get to the callers. I just got a couple of items to touch on before I get to the callers. I ain't going to be long. Florida Board of Education approved a new set of standards for how black history should be taught in the state's public schools, sparking criticism from education and civil rights advocates who said students should be allowed to learn, quote, the full truth of American history. The curriculum was approved at the board's meeting Wednesday in Orlando. I think it's about 13 board members. I am not aware of the diversity or diverse makeup of those board members. I'd like to see who's dictating what should define black history and what should be taught to young kids everywhere, particularly African-American kids, about their history. I'm really interested in knowing what those numbers, the numbers of those board members look like from a diverse perspective. How many blacks on the board? How many Latinos on the board? How many whites on the board? I'd like to know that. In any event, it says here, in the latest development in the state's ongoing debate over African-American history, including the Education Department's rejection of a preliminary pilot version of an advanced placement African-American studies course for high school students, which it claimed lacked educational values. The new standards come after the state passed new legislation under Governor Ron DeSantis that bars instruction in schools that suggest anyone is privileged or oppressed based on their race or skin color. Let me stop there. I don't need to read more. To Governor Ron DeSantis for Florida. My man, I am a registered independent. Although most of the time in my life I have voted Democrat. I'm not that enamored with the Democratic Party. I'm not that enamored with what is affectionately to some, unaffectionately to others described as woke, this woke culture that we're living in. I agree with some of the points that you have made in the past. So much so that I was actually hoping you'd win the Republican nomination because I certainly don't believe that Donald Trump should be the president of the United States of America. But the more I see stories like this, the more it alerts me to the fact that Ron DeSantis, you don't need to be governor. You don't need to be president either. The battles that he's fighting are just unconscionable. Why is the governor concerning himself with African-American studies? By the way, in the state of Florida, it's been being taught since 1994. Why are you concerning yourself with such things? And when it says here, because I want to make sure that I'm quoting it correctly, bars instructions in schools that suggest anyone is privileged or oppressed based on their race or skin color. Are you trying to deny the fact that white folks have been privileged compared to other races of people in this country? Are you kidding me? That is a fact that even white folks haven't denied. That's how affirmative action came to be. That's what diversity, equity, and inclusion has been about. What the hell are you talking about? Of course, there are people in this country who have been oppressed. I have 2 daughters. I've never met a black person, a black parent, that hasn't told their child, you'll need to be twice as good in all likelihood to get half as much. There will be obstacles placed in front of your face just because you are black. There's going to be an uphill climb that you're going to have to endure and persevere through. And even then, sometimes you're going to get a short end of the stick. Oh, by the way, that's if you're black. We ain't get into if you're a woman or a little girl before that, because we know that women are not treated on a fair and equitable basis compared to white men. White women may be treated better than black men, Because everybody knows white women have been the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action. But white women do not get what they deserve compared to their white male counterparts. That is a fact. Are we denying this? And for that to be a focal point for Ron DeSantis, to me, disqualifies you as a presidential candidate. Now, my word means nothing. I'm just a voter. I'm just a conscientious observer. And yes, when they sat up there and overturned, affirmative action, basically omitting and eliminating and eradicating race as a qualification for admissions, understand that that was a component deemed for consideration. It wasn't the component that decided admissions or not. What you wanted affirmative action for was to ensure that there would be equal and fair opportunities accorded to people in spite of their ethnicity, as opposed to it being held against them. Which is why it was appalling to me, as I said on Sean Hannity's show, as I said on Chris Cuomo's show. It was appalling to me that there were white people walking around this country celebrating as if they somehow had been victimized by a policy their iniquities helped enforce and implement to begin with. You did it. Your actions forced that. And now Ron DeSantis, who wants to be the president of the United States of America. That means to all people, I want to do so just so long as I get to make sure to omit this from your history, from you. Black kids don't need to know just about the negativity of slavery. They need to know about the benefits. Really? Ocoee Massacre, 1920? How about the Tulsa Race Massacre? How about the Rosewood Race Massacre? How about Jim Crow laws? I have no problem with Governor Ron DeSantis or anybody else saying that was the past. We're sorry it happened. Our iniquities against a race of people in this country will never nor should ever be forgotten. But we really, really have to move forward because there's no way to get better without doing so. Had he said that, that's fine. Whether you agree or disagree, it's a reasonable position to take. In some people's eyes anyway. But to sit up there and act like you're justifiably erasing and eradicating history. To keep this from kids on the come up who still have their challenges based off of their race. You're doing it because you don't want to accept responsibility for history and what has led to the divide that exists in this country. And if that is your mentality, you do not deserve to be the president of the United States of America. I don't even want to get into the Wesleyan University. They're going to stop giving preferential treatment to applicants who are children of alumni, joining a growing list of schools to end legacy admissions after the Supreme Court's ruling on affirmative action. I don't know how to think about that because on one hand, no, you shouldn't have favorable treatment because your relatives used to go to the school. But if you're qualified and your parents donated hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to a university, and that just happens to be a school that you want to go to and you're qualified to do so after your parents put forth that kind of contribution, I'm not sure I have a problem with you being a legacy admission. I certainly wouldn't want to hear something from Winston-Salem State if my daughters wanted to go there. I'd expect them to be there if they qualify. You damn right. I'm Stephen A. I give a lot to that university. And if they qualified and that's where they want to go, I'd want them to be in there. And I'd expect them to oblige me. But that's just me. There you have it. Your phone calls up next, along with Magic Johnson. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. As a sports media personality, I know what the sports community is talking about. I know where the buzz is. I've got my fingers on the pulse, and I know when there's something exciting going on. And I got to tell you, baseball is alive right now. This is a new era of the game, a new day, an incredible renaissance with more talent, more athleticism, more excitement than ever before. They banned the shift. They added a pitch timer. They widened the bases. They changed the rules. And it's paying off because the game is faster, nearly 30 minutes shorter than last year. No more constant breaks in between pitches. No more meaningless pickoff attempt after pickoff attempt. So yes, the game is faster. And it's literally faster, too. I'm talking about stolen bases, the most daring maneuver in baseball, the one that can spark a rally at a moment's notice. They're back and better than ever. I'm telling you, don't miss out on this era of baseball. The star power is real. The rules have changed. The game is back. Visit any ballpark or go to MLB.com, and you'll see what everyone is talking about. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on YouTube. I'm usually coming at you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. That is the case today as well. It was not the case this past Monday and Wednesday. I had taped interviews because I was on vacation, but I am back. I will be back on the airwaves of ESPN come this Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on First Take. For a couple of weeks before I go back on vacation and then come back near the end of the month, ready to wreak havoc. I started off this show by saying I want Shannon Sharpe on the show, and I'm hoping that ESPN can work out a deal with him. I want Michael Irvin back on the show, and I'm hoping that ESPN can work out a deal with him as well. Having said all of that, I've said my piece on a variety of fronts, and now it is time for me to take your questions and your calls. So put the questions up for me first, please. I'm going to go to the questions, and then after that, I'm going to go to the calls. Let me see what the question is, please. Somebody often spaced, whatever that is. Would you consider doing a food podcast with Carmen? No, I would not. What I would consider is giving Carmen her own podcast to do her own food podcast. She cooks, I'll eat. The only thing I'd be interested in doing on her podcast is eating her food because Carmen is the joint. Okay, my sister could throw down. All right, so let me be very, very clear about that. But I don't need to do the podcast with her. I just need to eat the food. That's all I need to do. Jerediah Williams writes, what are your thoughts about the NBA play-in tournament? I'm not opposed to it. Jerediah, I'm not opposed to it because I think anything to elevate the importance of the regular season is something that should be taken into consideration. The players and their mindset, it's not the same as it used to be because there's too much money involved. If you see them, look at the deterioration of NBA All-Star Weekend. Something needs to be done. I don't blame the league. I blame the players. They don't care enough. It's just that simple. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. They don't care enough about All-Star Weekend. Okay, 3-point shooting contest is always good. The slam dunk contest is an atrocity. It is an embarrassment. 2 years ago, well, two All-Stars ago, it was such an atrocity that I called for a national slam dunk competition. And here's my idea. I think the NBA should go throughout the streets of America. You can go in the hood anywhere in America, along with various other places, and have a national slam dunk contest nationwide and pick the top 10 to 15 contestants. Invite them all to NBA All-Star Weekend, all expenses paid. And I think each All-Star, or at least the 5 starters, assuming that you have 10 candidates, each starter should sponsor their slam dunk favorite. And whoever they sponsor, they'll coach them how to do the dunks and all of this other stuff. Winner gets $1 million in prize money. Second place, $500,000. Third place, $100,000. You got people in the streets getting themselves into trouble for $50. You know what these brothers would do to win a slam dunk contest to get $1 million, $500,000, $100,000? You know what kind of buzz that would create? You know what kind of interest that would elevate in the NBA product? And the players don't have to participate in terms of slam dunking. They could simply serve as the coach and the sponsor for a particular player. Steph Curry sponsors somebody. LeBron James sponsors somebody. Kevin Durant sponsors somebody, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's all you got to do. It will elevate interest. We'll see innovative dunks. And we won't be appalled at a slam dunk contest so atrocious it should have been banned. Or the one that just happened last year when a G Leaguer is the slam dunk champion. A G Leaguer. He did a damn good job, by the way. But a G League player is the slam dunk champion of NBA All-Star Weekend. So you ain't good enough to be in the league on a permanent basis, but you're good enough to come in the slam dunk contest for a weekend and beat all of them. Because the true superstar dunkers didn't want to participate. They don't care because they're getting enough money. Something has to be done. That's an idea that I think should be considered. Bruce Morrow writes, what do you lift, Stephen A? Laugh out loud. Well, first of all, I'm not going to answer that question, but in all seriousness, because I don't know. And here's the reason I don't know. I could lift, 40-pound, 50-pound dumbbells, stuff like that, all of that. But here's the deal. I'm proud of where I'm at right now because in the last 2 years, I've had 4 surgeries. I ignored my knees for years. I had both knees operated on, cartilage, meniscus damage, all that stuff. But I had 2 torn rotator cuffs. And in my right shoulder, I had a torn rotator cuff, a bone spur, a labrum, and a torn bicep muscle that had to be reattached. So just a month ago, I was allowed to start lifting and doing push-ups. For the previous 2 years, I wasn't allowed to do anything. That's why I'm so happy with the way I look. It ain't because I think I look great. It's because I know how far I've come. And I know how far I'm going. Check me out 2 months from now. You just wait and see. I ain't playing. Because there's no wealth without health. It really sucks when, you living successfully and things are going well for you, but you can't even enjoy it because you're sick or weak or disabled. Nah, I ain't going out like that no more. My health is my priority. And I hope to God it stays that way because I need all the help I can get. Let's get to the callers. Who we got?
Hey, Steven. I'm going to keep it short. My name's Will. I want to know, I'm calling from Fairfax, Virginia. I want to know if you think LeBron's still got one more championship left in his career. Thank you. Love your show.
I think LeBron James does have one more championship left in his career, but I think that's entirely dependent on Anthony Davis. Is Anthony Davis going to show up on a continuous basis? Anthony Davis is a superstar in this league when he's ready to ball. But that brother is, you know what I call, I know what, I'm not going to disrespect him by calling him street clothes like Charles Barkley, even though he's always hurt. But you know what I am going to call him? Six Flags. He's a roller coaster. Up and down. One day he drops 40. Next game he drops 11. Even when he there, he ain't there. Sometimes. That's what I had to tell his daddy the other day, who I enjoy talking to, by the way. Anthony Davis is a superstar when he's on his game. But when he disappears, he disappears. And regardless of anything that LeBron James tells you, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I believe that's the one reason and the only reason LeBron James contemplated retirement at the end of the season. Even though I never took him seriously because I knew he wasn't going away because his son probably got a chance to get to the NBA and LeBron wants to be here when that happens. But the reason that in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, nothing I heard or anything like that, the reason why I thought LeBron James contemplated retirement is because LeBron James knows how much he needs Anthony Davis in order to win. And to watch Anthony Davis show up one night, not show up the next, show up one night, not show up the next, LeBron's like, damn, I'm in my 21st season, man. I'm approaching 40. I'm in better shape than this brother, and I'm more reliable than this brother. Come on. And he has every right to feel that way. I can be critical of LeBron James just like the rest of them. But I laugh when people call me a hater. The only reason they say that is because I say he's not number one all time. It's Michael Jordan. LeBron James is one of the top 2 greatest players we have ever seen in the history of basketball. He's a phenomenal brother, an incredible role model. And I know it shocks people. It'll shock people to hear you say, I love LeBron James. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Because I'm not talking just about him, the person. I'm talking about what he personifies and represents and what he does for all of us just by the mere and sheer existence of him. You don't make LeBron James every day. Not in terms of his physical physique, not in terms of his talents, and certainly not in terms of his conscience or his heart. He's a good brother. And we will miss him when he's gone. We don't talk. We just say hi and bye and keep it moving. I love this brother because I love how he represents us. He's an incredible role model. Incredible. And we should all be proud of the fact that he is a proud black man. Because that's how we want to represent. Next caller.
What's up, Stephen A. Smith? It's Rob from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I was wondering how you feel about the word Riz, which basically means how much game you have with the girl. Do you think it's stupid or do you think it's accurate?
What?
Just curious on your take on it. Cheers.
What I think about Riz? Am I missing something? It means game? What kind of damn question is that? I don't know. I don't know how to answer. I do know how to answer it. That's just a dumbass question. Okay? I'm a grown-ass man. Don't be calling up here giving me acronyms. I'm not some little hood rat in the streets growing up as a teenager, speaking a different language and stuff where my children got to come and explain to me what the hell y'all talking about. I'm a grown-ass man. Speak in fluent, complete words and sentences. That's what I prefer. Okay? Riz. Means game. That what it mean, game? What the hell is that? You're a grown-ass man. You spent time calling up to this show on hold for some ignorant-ass question like that? See, that's where y'all in trouble. See, First Take is a live television show, which I'm very thankful and grateful that you all watch as religiously as you do. Thank you. But be clear, on this show, which is mine, I take callers. Be clear. I will curse your ass out in a heartbeat anytime you annoy me. Please know that. Please know that. Don't call with that dumbass question again. Next caller.
Hey, Steven, this is Alex in Cleveland, Ohio.
What's up?
I just wanted to say you gave me a shout out back in 2020. I believe it was April 8th. I had to call in and ask you something. I was wondering, between Tracy McGrady and Allen Iverson, who would you take in their prime and why?
Who would I take, Allen Iverson or Tracy McGrady in their prime? It would actually be Allen Iverson. That is no shade on Tracy McGrady, who was a superstar talent. Tracy McGrady's big time. And, of course, a legit 6'8", 6'9", that could do so many things. He was spectacular. But I had the pleasure of covering Allen Iverson for the first 6-7 years of his career every single day. And to see what he did to a team, to see the demoralization kick in because the answer kept answering their damn questions, to see the magnetism of the crowd, the box office appeal, and the effect it had on people around him, there was a difference. Tracy McGrady was an unstoppable force when he was on his game. Tracy McGrady was good for 25 to 27 a night. He was a Hall of Fame caliber talent. All of those things are true. No doubt about it. But that extra oomph, that little something that could galvanize people around you and stuff like that, that could have people just marveling at your greatness in such a way that they was transfixed and almost paralyzed by what they were seeing, that was Allen Iverson. So I would have to say AI. Not because he was a better player than Tracy McGrady, but because his impact was greater. That's just my opinion. Next caller.
Hey, Stephen A., what's going on? This is Mike from Massachusetts.
Yep.
Quick question. I know you said you want to be a WWE manager at some point. I'm a big WWE fan. I would love to see you as a WWE manager, especially a heel one. The question is, who on the current WWE roster today would you love to be a heel manager for?
That's the thing.
Peace out, Stephen.
That's the thing. There's nobody that I would want to be a manager for in today's game. Okay? Now, I go back to the days. Bobby the Brain Heenan was my all-time favorite bad guy manager for the WWF at the time, stuff like that. And I got that. Paul Heyman, villain, love him. I love how he was, say Brock Lesnar and all that. I love that stuff. Me personally, I would have wanted somebody like Ric Flair, of course. But Goldberg wasn't really a bad guy, so it wouldn't be the same because it got to be a bad guy. If you're a bad guy manager, he's got to be a bad guy. So it would be Ric Flair. It would be Hollywood Hogan, not Hulk Hogan, the good guy, but Hollywood Hogan when he was the bad guy. It would be him, Undertaker. I would consider him. Yeah. Was it not Steve Austin? That's the Bionic Man. Who's the one? I mean, damn, it's Austin. I just forget his name. I'm sorry, I got brain lock right now. Huh? Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's it. Him. He's another guy. Oh yeah, Randy Macho Man Savage. Him. Okay. And my all-time favorite tag team, the Road Warriors. Yes. Oh, let me not forget. I wouldn't have done, the only reason I wouldn't have wanted to be a bad guy manager for him is because I never could have outperformed him, Roddy Piper. I mean, I just love these guys. I love the bad guys, okay? All right? Good guys I loved. I love The Rock as a good guy, and there's no bigger fan of Goldberg than me. His entrance alone was the joint. So those are just some of the names. None of the new guys, though. None of the new guys. Sorry. Last question. What's up?
Hey,
go ahead, man.
This is Nico Lomas from San Antonio, Texas. Just one question for you, brother. Is it okay to say that Stephen Curry is a top 5 player all the time? Appreciate it.
Is it okay to say that Stephen Curry is a top 5 player of all time? I'm going to say no, but only because defense matters. I think Steph Curry is the greatest shooter God has ever created. I'm going to say it again. The greatest shooter God has ever created. I think because of his impact, his shooting ability, his range, his marksmanship, combined with his movement without the basketball, affects offenses in ways that the great Magic Johnson affected you as a point guard. Now, Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas, and others obviously respectfully disagree with me. They say Magic Johnson's the greatest point guard ever. Okay? That's what they say, especially Michael Jordan. Tells me that all the time. He's got Isaiah number 2. He's got Magic Johnson number 1. I'm going to say because of Steph Curry's surreal marksmanship and his movement without the basketball. Everybody's head is on a swivel and they're scared to death because you got to find him and you don't know where he's at, and the man can just shoot. He's the greatest shoot ever. He should be considered as the greatest point guard ever, ahead of all of them, because of his ability to shoot the basketball and the way he affects the game with his movement without the basketball before he shoots. Having said that, I think when you look at MJ, LeBron, Kareem, the Tim Duncans of the world, the Bill Russells of the world, oh, man. I mean, it's just hard. I can't put Steph Curry's top 5 because you got to take all of those categories into consideration. You just do. And even though I don't hold it against him that 2 of those titles came with Kevin Durant, others will, because Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players we've ever seen. And having him on the squad with you and Klay Thompson clearly is a plus. So I wouldn't put him as top 5. But it's a worthy question. I can't dismiss it. By the way, before I get on out of here, speaking of Magic Johnson, I want to take a moment to give my brother some love. I believe he was on the Today Show this morning. I believe that he broke down in tears because Magic Johnson is a new part owner of the National Football League's Washington Commanders. First of all, understand this about NFL teams. You have to be a real dummy not to make money as an NFL owner. It prints money. Okay? We all know that Magic Johnson was a great player and a great champion and a great winner on the court. We've all heard of his business exploits off the court. And we understand a lot of things go into that. This means the world to Magic Johnson, who, by the way, is now a part owner of the Washington Commanders of the National Football League, the Los Angeles Dodgers of Major League Baseball, the Los Angeles Football Club, obviously, for MLS soccer, and the Los Angeles Sparks for the WNBA. Magic Johnson is a black man that goes about the business of handling his business. He is a friend. He is somebody that never hesitates to provide mentorship and guidance to people like myself and countless others. He is a winner on so many levels. He is a conscientious brother. And he is somebody who deserves our love, our support, our appreciation, and our gratitude. This brother never stops. He just keeps on going. And by the way, I'm 55 years old, and I have never in my life been on a better vacation or a better party than Magic Johnson had to celebrate his 60th birthday a few years ago. I have never had a better time in my life, and it was all because of him. Black Hollywood showed up because of Magic Johnson. This is in France. Saint-Tropez. It's the greatest moment of my life. It's because of Magic Johnson. He continues to shine every single day of a life we sincerely doubted he'd ever reach since 1991 when he announced that he had contracted the HIV virus. This man has outlived so many. He's outconquered so many. He's beat so many. And he continues to shine time and time and time again. My love, my adulation, my affection, my gratitude, my appreciation, and my sincere congratulations to you pulling this off. We needed diversity in those NFL rooms. We had it with Jay-Z too. He's there. He's got a voice and some impact.